What I'm going to show you today are some great games that are published by Nintendo and developed by a great company that you may remember from the 90s and the early 2000s. Now, first off, I'm going to show you my titles that I will be reviewing, and these are the ones that I own. So, first off, there's one game I own on Virtual Console, is Donkey Kong Country for the Super Nintendo. I'll show you that on my TV right over there. And these are the games I own cartridge-wise. And there's also a remake of another game that I own on the DS that I will show you. So let's get to it. We're gonna first just kind of show you the titles that I will review. First off, you have Diddy Kong Racing. That's like Mario Kart that introduced new characters, but we'll fully review those later on in the video. Banjo-Kazooie, Donkey Kong 64, Donkey Kong Country on the Game Boy, Banjo-Tooie. Oh, there's the remake. I forgot. Hold on a sec. Here we go. Also Diddy Kong Racing DS on the DS. It's another exclusive port, exclusive features. And later off, we'll show you Conker's Bad Fur Day, like I even mentioned for the unboxing on this game. Now, later on, I will be unboxing games that are expensive and pretty rare to get. I mean, this game, I got this on eBay in an auction for like $55. Luckily, I won it. So, I'm very happy to have this game. I would highly recommend it if you don't mind vulgarity like this that it has. So first off, I'm going to show you Donkey Kong Country. So let's get to it. To start off, I'm going to show you Donkey Kong Country that Rareware is pretty well known for. Let's get this to launch. I have this on an SD card, by the way. Of course, like I mentioned before, my Wii kind of sucks now, because I can only play Virtual Console and WiiWare games on here, so I'm going to be using this controller most of the time. I'm going to reset this and start a new game, because the final level is pretty hard, but the game just feels just as comfortable if you were playing this on the original Super Nintendo, and the controls are nearly perfect. There's Cranky Kong right there. I'm going to turn the volume up a bit so you can hear. Of course, you may remember them. This is even where his nephew first appeared. That is Diddy Kong. I'm going to start a new game. You always get the idea if you want to play alone or team up with a buddy. And the controls are nearly perfect. You got the control pad to just move your character around. I mean, this is the most famous game that Rareware is famous for developing. Of course, wait. Speaking of which, you remember Donkey Kong, the classic arcade game from 1981? Well, rumors say that Donkey Kong Jr. could be this Donkey Kong that you're playing as. And I really love the soundtrack of this game. Ba-da-da-da-da. It's been a while since I played this, so I'll try my best. Speaking of which, hey Mario, come down here. Oh, yeah. What is it? What is it, Dad? What is it, Nintendo-matic man? Oh. You remember your friend Donkey Kong? What? He used to be my enemy back in the old days. No, he's your friend now. This is his game, Donkey Kong Country. Why don't you sit back and play? Or maybe watch me play and review it. Okay, that'd be fine. Yeah. Here we go! Anywho, this is the second level in the game. Now, I don't want to spoil too much of the game if you haven't played through it before. So I'll just kind of give off the first world. And then, well, what I will show next is the Game Boy Color version of this game. And I'll be playing this on my Game Boy Player accessory on my GameCube. To give this off, it's a really fun game for an old school game like this. I mean, this is probably my favorite Super Nintendo game. This is my favorite, like, pretty much my sister's favorite. Yeah, and I think later on I'll probably order, like, Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong Blush. So, now Cranky will kind of give you a little bit of clues about some of the upcoming levels. Now, I don't want to go there, so let's just go to the cave, and I think that's all the time I have to show you this, so, well, I'm going to show you the Game Boy Color version. Now, this is the other version that I own for Donkey Kong Country. This is the Game Boy Color version. So, let's pop this guy in, and I'll show you what it's like. Let's see if this works. Alright. Oh, darn it. Didn't read it correctly. Let's try this again. Come on. Okay, there we go. Yeah, this came out 6 years later after the original release. That's a little too loud. I'm gonna turn it down. Duh, I want English. Now, this is basically a director's cut that you might remember Donkey Kong Land, but this is a little bit better since this is color based. And the menu is almost kind of like the menu in Donkey Kong 64 that I will review later. Now you got, this is a director's cut, so you got some bonus games to play. There's Funky Fishing. You can hear the cool part for Donkey Kong. You just collect as many fish as you can before time runs out. Of course, this will always add to your time. This will always extend your time depending on the amount of fish that you catch. The other thing I do want to show you, the other thing I do want to show you is, another thing I love is Crosshair Cranky, but it gets pretty tough after a while. What you're supposed to do, now let me just start on a simple level. The Kremlings and Kongs. You just stop the Kremlings, but don't hit your Chimpy Chums. You press the A button to, like, shoot at, don't hit them, or else... As you can see that little monkey down in the corner, like DK's face, you can see his mood, whether you're doing good or not. And if it goes if he gets really sad, game over, you lose. Now, pay attention to your ammo that's in the middle of the screen. To reload, press the B button. I mean, this game has good graphics and music for Game Boy. They don't exactly match the Super Nintendo version, but that's okay. It's a little bit different from the first version of the game, so that's okay. Sometimes you'll have to do other things other than shooting at Kremlings. Today they're called critters. I don't know why they call them that. So, there we go. Sometimes you'll have to help animals get across, like, different paths without letting them fall. I need to quit this. So, let's just jump right into the main game. So he kind of moves basically the same way, kind of like he does on the Super Nintendo game. So let's just get to the first level. For graphics as it goes, it's pretty fair for the Game Boy Color. Now sometimes it will get a bit low, and depending on where you're at, sometimes the jump button's a little too sensitive. But overall, it's a solid port. Bum 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 ba da da da. And here we are at the bonus area. Darn it. If you love playing remakes of video games like this, then pick this game up. And there's also another port to the Game Boy Advance. I played this on a friend's Game Boy of mine, on my friend's Game Boy, and I think it's better than this one. I mean, just because the controls are less sensitive. So, anywho, I'm gonna move on to Diddy Kong Racing.